What is up, everybody? Welcome to another World Cup preview here on Touchline Talk. Thank you so much for tuning in. Before I get started, as always, I want to say be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content I'm putting out every single week on YouTube, including the rest of these group previews. Today, all about Group G, and that means starting with Argentina. Fourth World Cup appearance for Argentina, also made in 2003, 2007, and 2019. Exited in the group stage all three times, so that is your best finish. Your name to know, Valencia Bosegundo, coming off a really good season with Real Madrid, scored at the last World Cup, scored three times at Copa America last summer, has the European pedigree with what she's doing at Real Madrid. Obviously a crucial part of this team in terms of her performances and the goals that she is providing, World Cup experience, all of that with Florencia Bosengundo. So that is your name to know. The big question, can the progress continue? 2019 World Cup was the first time Argentina collected points at a major tournament. It was a big step forward to actually be competitive, to come away with something. Also had a pretty good showing in Copa America. The trajectory is very much upward. Can that continue at this tournament? There are points to be had in this group, especially with the expanded number of teams. This team itself is on the rise. So can you kind of elevate this program to the next level and not just be happy to get to a World Cup, be happy to have a decent showing, but start working toward aiming to get out of groups, picking up wins? That's the next step for Argentina. Can it happen in this tournament? Up next is Italy. Fourth World Cup appearance for Italy, also made it in 1991, 1999, and 2019. Best finish, two quarterfinals, 1991, 2019. Your name to know, Barbara Bonacea, two-time FIFA Pro World 11 selection, 2019-20 season and 2020-2021 season. Those were when she was named to that World 11. Selected by the players, speaks for itself as an honor. One of the best players in the world, very consistent performer for Juventus, and experience in major tournaments, plenty of national team experience. Barbara Bonacea kind of checks every box in terms of a name to know. The question, how do Italy deal with the pressure and the scrutiny? This is a team coming off of very disappointing Euros. Melina Bertolini dropped Captain Saragama from the squad. She is not even in it. There's some tension here, some frustration, a lot of questions being asked. Can they rise to the occasion and kind of rally together with everything going on? Or are they going to kind of fall apart under this pressure? Because they should get out of this group, with should being the operative word. And I'll touch on that more a little bit at the end with my final thoughts. But there's a lot of kind of noise around this team coming off of Euros. Now you drop your captain. They got to deliver and make sure they get out of this group. Because I feel like there could be some major ramifications in terms of what happens to this team moving forward if they end up exiting in the group stage. Team 3 is South Africa. Second appearance for South Africa, also made it in 2019, exited in the group stage, so that is your best finish. Your name to know, very easy to select, Thembi Kgatana. Thembi Kgatana has the only World Cup goal in the history of South Africa women's soccer. She is also, from a resume standpoint, the most accomplished player on this team. Back in the NWSL now with Racing Louisville. Unfortunately tore her Achilles at AFCON last summer, so she's just been working her way back into game shape recently with Louisville, but already contributing with goals and assists. You can see her quality. She is the heart and soul, the creative force, the everything for this South Africa team. Building on that, the question is, can they find any kind of offensive consistency? Only Thailand generated fewer expected goals at the 2019 World Cup than South Africa. And of the very limited number of expected goals South Africa generated, Kgatana was responsible for almost all of them. Somebody else has to help out. They've got to find a way to give themselves an opportunity to score a goal. It's very basic, but that's the question, is can they generate anything offensively? Finally, we have Sweden. 9th World Cup appearance for Sweden. That means they have participated in all of them. Best finish 2003 runners up. Your name to know: Fridolina Rolfo. Here's all you need to know about Fridolina Rolfo. She's playing as a left back for Barcelona. Between La Liga and the Champions League last season, she had 22 goal involvements. Again, she is playing as a left back. That's really all that needs to be said. The other thing I'll throw out there is it'll be interesting to see how she is used at this tournament. I expect and would have her playing higher up the field. I think that's what's going to happen. But we're going to have to wait and see. Maybe it changes a little bit. But it's something to keep an eye on because she is naturally not a left back. Again, 22 goal involvements as a defender. She is an attacker by kind of training or by nature, and was just playing in the left back spot for Barcelona because, well, Barcelona are loaded, obviously. And so it was the best way to make those pieces fit. Not necessarily the case with Sweden. As many good players as there are on this team, Fridolina Rolfo kind of stands above everybody else right now. And obviously coming off a fantastic season. So that's your name to know. Your big question: what is the ceiling? Can they go one more step? In the last edition of the three major tournaments, World Cup 2019, Tokyo Olympics, Euro 2022, Sweden have reached and lost in the semifinals. There really isn't much more to it than that. They've done their job, they've met expectations, but they haven't exceeded them, I would argue. Do they have one more win in them to get to a final? Can they get back to another semifinal? I'm not putting too much stock in it because it's over a 4-year period. Coincidences are just, sometimes weird things happen. But if it's another semifinal defeat in this tournament, you got to start asking some questions about the mental toll that takes and just kind of where everything is at. Obviously, you could go on both sides of that, and, it's great to just be consistently getting to semifinals. But for the Sweden team, it's can you go one step further? Or is there something about the semifinals, whether it's the competition, a mental hurdle, whatever it might be, that just they have something is preventing them from getting to the final? Can that change this time around? As for the group overall, some final thoughts. Obviously, Sweden are your favorites. They should get to the quarterfinals without any issues. And then this is where things get interesting. I talked about the pressure on Italy. That is the second best team in this group on paper. It is also one of the quote-unquote second teams I am least confident in because of the vibes and the way that they're entering this tournament, and because I can see a world in which Argentina develops into a team capable of getting to the round of 16, getting out of the group. Most of the other groups have two teams that are, top 10 in the world, and you go, clearly those are your two favorites. That's not the case here. Italy aren't quite in that category. And so from a top to bottom standpoint, this is probably the group I can talk myself into the most scenarios with. I could see a world in which South Africa finds a way to win a game, and all of a sudden they're finishing third. I could see a world in which Argentina finishes second. I wouldn't be stunned if Italy struggled. The only team I'm pretty confident in is Sweden. Just because there isn't a team that really scares you in this group if you're Sweden. But it's going to be one of the more interesting groups because of the uncertainty with those other three teams and the balance here. So I am looking forward to that part of it. I will say I think Italy figures it out and deliver to reach the round of 16. But again, would not be surprised at all if that is Argentina. That is all for this Group G preview. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. I'll see you next time.